Stocks are down. Treasuries are tanking. The yield curve has inverted. Inflation is roaring, and it looks like a recession is about to hit. So I have to ask you, what's in your portfolio? Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. In this video, I'm going to talk with Rana Vig, the CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources. And I want you to stop, okay? Don't bail on this video, all right? I know some of you get instantly triggered when I talk about silver and gold mining stocks. Maybe a 15% ROI in just 3 months isn't for you, okay? That's what Blue Lagoon has done since January. My mining stock portfolio is up 17%. You do you, but I have been telling you, when the spot price of silver and gold rise, high quality precious metals, junior mining companies pop. That's how it works. All right, it's a leveraged speculative play. But if you're still not interested, that's fine. Just give the first half of this video a listen, okay? Rana has some amazing insights into the silver and gold markets, not to mention copper markets as well. And you really should watch this one, even if you're not into buying mining stocks yet, okay? This is the third time that I've had Rana on my channel to talk about silver and gold. I continue to be impressed with Blue Lagoon's leadership team, their properties, insider ownership, and financials. They've graciously agreed to sponsor this video. However, I personally haven't pulled the trigger on Blue Lagoon yet. They're still not in my model portfolio. I've been watching them for quite a while, but I haven't bought them yet. Did I miss my opportunity with Blue Lagoon? I don't think so, but let's talk with Rana Vig. Hi, Rana. Great to see you again.
Likewise. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure. So the big news right now, Rana, is the yield curve in the bond market. It's inverted. The rate on a 2-year treasury is higher than a 10-year treasury. And I think every recession that we've had in the States has been preceded by an inverted yield curve. This quarter, we saw the S&P 500 decline 4.9%. We saw treasuries tank 5.6%. Rana, that hasn't happened since I was in high school back in 1980. Is a recession coming this year?
If all indicators were like the past, yes, most likely, most definitely, it's coming. The question is, are they going to throw a bunch of, what tools are they? What new tools are they going to try to figure out to throw at this? Because it seems that our leaders don't want to deal with the situation at hand. They just want to keep kicking it down the road and let it be somebody else's problem.
I'm not sure they can do anything but kick it down the road. I mean, look at inflation, Rana. It's now costing the average family more than $5,000 a year for the stuff they're buying. That's $5,000 more a year. That is tremendously burdensome on working class Americans, not to mention, the fixed income seniors. Yeah. Is inflation going to continue ravaging our economy?
It certainly looks like that. I don't know how we get this under control, and then we got the world situation going on now with the war, and who knows what's coming down down further. They've got a lot of dangerous tools at their fingertips, and one person, one nutcase who goes sideways on us could trigger a monumental change shift. I believe that we are actually experiencing a monumental shift in the world, and I don't see how we go back from that. So I think these are going to put a lot of pressures on economies, and I think inflation is certainly, it seems like, here to stay for the foreseeable future.
It seems like the Fed can't raise rates fast enough or large enough, right, without risking a collapse in the stock market.
And how much can they raise? Look, we talked about the 80s. I grew up in that time, and you remember when the interest rates went to 20% plus. I can't even see how a scenario of anything like that can happen because the governments would go broke. They can't finance their own debt. how is it possible? So it's
Yes.
a very complicated situation that we're in, and they keep saying all these different things. And honestly, I don't know. I don't think they actually have any way to dig ourselves out of this.
Yeah, and Jay Powell is no Paul Volcker.
Agreed.
But during this time, we have seen commodities experiencing one of their best years on record. Why is that?
Well, look, let's talk about gold. Okay, uh, it traditionally it's been for hundreds of years. It's the standard, right? It's money, and it's this is the perfect environment for something like gold to increase the way we're seeing it increase. And why is that? Well, look, number of reasons, right? Number one, all of the money printing that everybody keeps hearing and all we talking about, right? That's going to cause devaluation, right? I mean, so it's not even so much that the commodities, it's not even so much that the gold is going up. It's that the dollar is becoming worthless
Right.
and headed more. And very simple example is if you went back to the 70s and you looked at the gold, an ounce of gold was about $30 an ounce back then, right?
Yep.
So if you took that 1 ounce of gold and you buried it in your backyard in a plastic bag, and next to it you put a $30 in a separate bag, and fast forward today and we dug that out, look at the value. The value of that same 1 ounce is 1900 and whatever it is today, $28, something around 1900. But what is the value of that $30, that hard currency? What, not even a half a tank of gas.
Wow.
So so commodities are going up with this gold, this copper. The other reason is the infrastructure isn't in place, right? Everything's being depleted. The companies, whether it's because of environmental issues or various issues, companies haven't invested in more mines coming online. So there's a deficit. You talk about gold, or you talk about silver, you talk about copper. These are all indicators and things that are going to put pressure for an upward movement of commodities.
Do you think we could see gold hitting an all-time high this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we were almost there just a little bit
It
ago.
was close.
Uh, yes, right. But and again, I think there's a lot of focus on, especially with retail investors. They're waiting for gold to like break out in some crazy number. But I think what people forget is, for example, when we took over the project that we're currently working on, the Dome Mountain project, we took that over 2 years ago. Actually, 2 years ago yesterday, and gold was around 1,400. It was a little less than $1,400, and here we are today. 2 years later, it's 1,900 plus. That's a pretty significant movement. We've got unprecedented printing of money. We've got unprecedented debt around the world, whether it's the United States, it's Canada, it's Germany, pick a country. Everybody seems to be in trouble.
Right.
And now you've got this. Then you have this pandemic. It doesn't. It looks like it's going away, and then now I'm hearing, is there like a sixth wave coming? That puts more complications and more into. And now you got this war. That's who knows? Is it going to expand, or is it going to get contained? So all of these things are putting a pressure on certainly things like gold and silver, and this is the environment traditionally that gold loves. So this is why a lot more smarter people than me, I assure you, who have all sorts of access to data and knowledge, they are all projecting much, much higher gold. How high can it go? I don't know, but I certainly see it, 24, 2,500, 2,700, plus at the end of the year.
Wow. Let's talk about your company that you founded, Blue Lagoon Resources. You and your friends and family own approximately 20% of the company shares. And I've read that you have been buying heavily last month. I think you added another 100,000 shares. Why is that?
Well, look, I'm a believer. I see some incredible things that are happening in our company. In fact, I was buying more, and we started getting some results in. And my board said, "Stop." My lawyer said, "Hey, you've got embargo. You can't buy anymore because we're analyzing data." And so I stopped because you see, when you're investing in something, Here's what I understood a long time ago. If you're in this in a junior miners like ours, the most important point is the entry point when you think that the commodity cycle is on an upswing, and that's where we are. It hasn't even started. We believe we're just about to start that phase. So when gold, as we just talked about, the anticipation of gold going up, $2 or $3, $4, $500 or more,
Right.
when that happens, junior exploration like companies like ours, their stock go up multiples, many multiples of that, and that's historical. You can go back and look at decades and decades of data that support that. So that's why I'm buying. I think we have a lot going on, and I want to add to my position.
That's great. Yeah, I mentioned it's a leverage play. It can really pop when the spot prices go up.
As much as I can. I added 1 million shares last year. I had a couple of million shares before that. I had another 100,000 just this past month. So I'm very bullish on it.
Rana, I had the distinct pleasure of interviewing Dr. Quinton Henney a couple times. Tell my viewers who he is and why he's so instrumental to Blue Lagoon Resources.
Dr. Quinton Henney is a genius, geological genius. He's one of the brightest in the field. He's a world-renowned geologist, really a legend in the industry who was involved in some very, very significant discoveries like Kirkland Gold and numerous others. He is an advisor to a company called Crescat Capital. And we talked last summer. It took me about 9 months to get his attention because he's very busy. He looks at dozens of projects every week, and who am I? So I was knocking on his door for many months. I finally got his attention, and he's at the end of a 90-minute technical call or so with our team. His final words were, "You boys have a hidden gem here." That was music to my ears. He then advised his fund that he advises, Crescat Capital, to come in, and they took a pretty significant position. They invested $1.5 million into our company, and in fact, just last week they almost doubled their position again. They invested again, and he believes, and this is why you have to go to your former question: why am I buying? He believes that we're sitting on what they call an alkali-based gold metal system, which there's a few around the world, not that many. Buritica in Colombia has over 10 million ounces. So he believes, from what he's seen so far, we're very similar. He called it eerily similar to Buritica. So that's the opportunity, right? That we have, I believe, in Blue Lagoon Resources currently.
Can you give us an update on the 42 plus square mile Dome Mountain project? I was just reading recently there was some new high grade gold vein intercepts.
Yeah, that was very significant, over 7 meters of 15 grams plus gold. These are high grade gold veins, and these are new discoveries. So since we met Dr. Henney, and with some of his knowledge and some of his guidance and our technical team, we've actually had already 2 new discoveries since last summer. So that hole, that, by the way, that we released that you're talking about, right. Dr. Henney told us that's like one of the in like the top 5% of all drill holes last year drilled in North America.
Wow,
pretty exciting stuff.
Do you feel like you've led the company to meet its goals so far?
I think the shareholders are pretty happy, in terms of what we've accomplished. We've only, as I mentioned, acquired this project 2 years ago, and we have done more probably in those 2 years than the previous operators had done in the last 20 to advance this project. I bet you we'll do more this year than we've done in the last 2 years. I don't like sitting around. I'm not a good spectator. I like to be engaged.
Well, like I said in my intro, your company is up 15% year to date. Rana, I looked at getting in to Blue Lagoon back in January. It's not in my model portfolio. That was probably the time to get a position. Did I miss the boat?
I don't think so, not at all. Look, you can never time the market perfectly. We were under, because of all the world sort of macroeconomics, a lot of gold companies like ours were under pressure. So we also felt the pressure in the markets, and that would have been certainly a great time to get in. But look, I can only speak from my own actions. I just bought this last month, so if I thought it was too late, I certainly wouldn't be adding to my position.
Good
right?
point. Good point. Yeah. Well, if you're interested in checking out Blue Lagoon Resources, their ticker symbol's right there on the screen. It's BLAGF on the over-the-counter markets in the U.S. Rana, how can people get more information about Blue Lagoon?
I think the best is to go to our website, www.bluelagoonresources.com. There's lots of information there. If people have more info that they'd like to get, I'm a very engaged CEO. I love talking to people. So there's an email link there. They can email me, and it might take me a couple of days because of the volume of emails I deal with every day, but I'll certainly get back to them and answer any questions that I'm able.
Great. I'll put all your info in the description of the video. Hey, Rana, thanks so much for this great update. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.